welcome to another video. I'm John, your guide through the job hunting process. Today's video is a little bit different. It's a bit of a rant and just talking about some of the things I discovered recently while applying for a number of jobs. Now, why am I applying for jobs? I work with hundreds of job seekers, and over the past several years, I've worked very closely with about 5,000, in fact, preparing resumes, providing coaching on interviewing, how to apply for jobs, how to position oneself on platforms such as LinkedIn. Now, to stay current, I try to stay, excuse me, I try to stay as up to date as I can on the job application process. So yesterday I applied, and I do this fairly regularly. Yesterday I applied for 20 jobs on LinkedIn and Indeed. And all I can say is, wow, I was incredibly frustrated by the process. In fact, one company even bordered on illegality in their hiring process. Now, to be fair, some of the application steps were fairly easy. Simply upload a resume. One ATS, in fact, took my existing resume and converted it to their platform and asked me to simply review to make sure that the relevant information was portrayed in the relevant text boxes, and that was fine. Others, I had to repeat a great deal of my resume. So I had to re-enter my name, phone number. I had to highlight the names of most recent companies. Then some started to get a little bit questionable, and I'll just go to the most extreme, which blew me away. One company, in addition to asking me for my usual contact information, this is after uploading my resume. One company asked me again for my name, phone number, to write out where I went to school, what my degrees are in, asked me to list my recent employment, to highlight my responsibilities and accomplishments. And all of this is in the resume I sent them. Then it got a bit weird. They started to ask a lot of demographic questions, such as what ethnic group do I belong to, how I identify, in essence, what is my gender, what is my chosen gender. Then it asked me a question about sexual orientation. What is your sexual orientation? How do you define yourself? And it gave a series of options. It shouldn't matter to the employer what one's sexual orientation is, especially at the application process. Now, I coach my clients to not, and this is a bit of a funny issue. I coach my clients on not revealing personal information. So I focus my work, my hands-on work in recruitment and human resources is in Canada. And I know that a lot of other jurisdictions, such as the UK, it's fairly similar, where there are something called prohibited grounds. Now, an employer cannot discriminate against an applicant based upon certain prohibited grounds, such as marital status, religion, ethnic origin, sexual orientation, children. And so what a lot of human resource managers do not want to know is anything pointing to any of those prohibited grounds, because they don't want to be accused of consciously, subconsciously discriminating against a candidate. They don't want a candidate to turn around and say, oh, I didn't get the job because I revealed I have X number of children. So they don't want to see that type of information. For a company to be asking for this level of personal detail at the application stage is absolutely horrendous. Now, I refuse to answer. The options were, on some of them, this, or choose not to answer. Now, what does that mean? if they see I chose not to answer? Does that mean I'm potentially not on board with their DEI policy? I'm not on board with their cultural values because I choose to keep certain information private? Why the heck should anybody, even once they have the position, why should anybody have to declare their sexual orientation? It makes absolutely no sense. At the application stage, the objective should be to see, is this candidate capable of doing the job? Orientation and gender at that stage has absolutely no bearing on that whatsoever. It's absolutely, and that this is happening, that these companies, Canadian companies, so we can't say they come from another country. So some countries in the world will ask you to identify if you're married, if you have any children, what your nationality is. That's fairly common in the Middle East to see that, and to ask for a photo as well. That's fairly common in some countries. It is not common at all. In fact, it's illegal in Canada. And that these companies are doing this on sites such as LinkedIn with seeming impunity, it blows my mind. Now, the job hunting process is already frustrating enough as it is. Now, for these 20 applications, I'm telling you, half of them, I just felt like giving up halfway through. The process is absolutely absurd. They want to see your resume. They want to receive your resume, have your resume go through the ATS, be scanned, and then determined whether or not it should pass on to the next level. That's what the process is for them to source qualified candidates, not to screen people out at a certain stage because they're hoping to find out, screening candidates in or out based upon gender identity and sexual orientation. That's absolutely horrendous. And that a job seeker who is potentially very frustrated, desperate to find a job, is being asked to give that level of information. Another one asked me to list all of my social media platforms so they can see whether or not I'm a cultural fit for the organization. A lot of companies will check you out on Facebook. They'll try and find you on Twitter. But to ask at that stage, and what other information are they hoping to glean from your social media profiles? Are they hoping to determine whether or not are they hoping to discover your sexual orientation, your gender identity, what football team you like, what foods you like to eat? I mean, what are they hoping to find at this stage? Companies, you have to do better. The job hunting process, the job application process is frustrating. Grilling people further once they've uploaded the resume to your ATS should be enough. Sorry, uploading their resumes to an ATS should be enough. Further grilling them on questions or on other points which should only be discussed perhaps once they're signing a contract shouldn't be happening at this stage. Companies, do better. Job seekers, it's tough out there. Do not answer questions you are not comfortable answering. The focus should only be on whether or not you possess the academic background, the professional background, the skills, capabilities that the job requires. If you feel uncomfortable answering questions, don't answer them. That potentially points to the kind of company that you're applying to. If you're not comfortable, do not answer their questions. Regarding orientation, it should not matter what somebody's orientation is. This is 2024. It should not matter what someone's orientation is. Why are you asking that question? Again, a rant, a personal opinion. It's frustrating. I absolutely hear and feel for the clients I work with. I do my absolute best to get them through an ATS. Keep applying. Hopefully, this isn't a trend we're going to see more and more. Stay focused on the positions you want. Keep targeting your resume. And hopefully, and fingers crossed, you will be getting the callbacks for those interviews. Thanks for watching. Again, thank you for indulging me in this bit of a rant. It's something I felt I had to say. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to this channel, liking this video and sharing. and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.